Hello dear students, I am Sujata Jadhav, in Assistant Professor from SVKT College, Deolali camp from BCA department. My topic name is Control and Iterative Structure. So first we will discuss about the introduction. A statement is the smallest executable unit of a C language program and it is terminated with a semicolon. Statement is an instruction given to the computer to perform a particular task like reading input, displaying output or evaluating expression. By default, a statement in a C program are executed in a sequential order. The order in which the program statements are executed is known as a flow of program control. Many practical situations like decision making, repetitive execution of a certain task require variation or alteration from the default flow of program control. So let us see the flow of control. So first we will discuss about the control structure and iterative structure. So first control statements, first decision making statement, second looping statements, third jump statements. So first decision making statement also two types, if else and switch case. Looping statement also three types, while, do while and for, and jump statement also two types, break and continue. So let us see, first we discuss about the if statement. An if statement is a fundamental control structure, is a programming language that allows you to execute specific code blocks based on whether a condition is true or false. It is used to make a decision and control the flow of execution in your program. So let us ask the syntax of if statement. The syntax of if statement varies slightly across different languages, but the general syntax of an if statement in most programming languages is as follows. If condition, then the code to execute. If condition is true, then the code is to be execute. Next, the control of flow chart of the if statement. So first start the condition. If condition is true, the body of the statement is true. Then if else, the body of condition is the false to exit the program. So let us see the example of a if statement. First, header file include #include stdio.h. stdio.h, it is the header file. Next, integer main, the main function. If x is equals to 5, if x is greater than is equals to 4, printf x is greater than 5. If condition is x is equals to 4, the printf value of x is a 4, so return 0. Then the output is x is greater than 5. Next, if else statement. An if else statement in a programming is a basic programming technique that allows you to make decision based on a certain condition. It allows your program to execute different pieces of a code depending on whether the specified condition is evaluated true or false. So basic syntax of if else is if, then condition, the code block execute if then condition is true, otherwise it is else part, code block to execute if the condition is false. The other syntax is if keyword begins is conditional statement. Another part, condition is enclosed in parentheses. If condition evaluates to true, the code block immediately following the if statement is executed. If condition evaluates false, the code block is executed in the else statement. The flow chart of if else statement is first start condition. The condition is true, the code block is executed, otherwise false if condition is else code, and after the program is execute. Example of if else condition, integer main, declare and initialize the variable num, integer num is equals to 10, otherwise check if number is greater than 0. If number is greater than 0, the printf number is positive, else if number is not greater than 0, the print number is not positive. So output is a number is a positive. Next is a nested if else. Nested if else statement allows for more complex decision making within the program. You can nest if else statement with other if else statement, creating condition at multiple levels. Syntax of nested if else statements. If condition 1, code block of condition 1 being true. If condition 2, code block of condition 1 and condition 2 both being are true, otherwise else, code block of condition 1 being true and condition 2 is being false, else code block of condition 1 being false. The nested if else condition is a true. Next, of a flow chart of a if nested if else. Start, If condition is a false, then program go to the nested if condition, otherwise false nested if a body to execute the program. If condition is a true, if body of the condition, statement just below if and exit the program. So example of a nested if else, hash include stdio.h integer main, if declare and initialize the variable num, int num is equals to 10, outer if else statement to check if num is greater than 0, if num is greater than 0, printf number is positive, nested if else statement to check if num is even or odd, if num %2 equal to 0, printf number is even, otherwise else, printf number is odd. Else execute if num is not greater than 0, printf number is non-positive, so return 0. Next, nested if statement. In programming, if else if statement is also known as if else if ladder. It is used when there are more than two possible actions based on a different condition. If condition is a true, statement else if condition 2, statement 2, else if condition number of ends, statement n, else default a statement. The nested if statements flow chart of given below. First, condition is a true, statement is given to next statement, otherwise false, condition 2, then the false condition of number of ends, then false default statement are the true. Next, switch statement. In a C, switch statement is a flow control structure that allows you to execute one of many code blocks based on the value of an expression. It is often to use in place of its else ladder when there are multiple conditional codes. The syntax of a switch statements are given below. First, switch, then expression, case value 1, code block, then break condition, case value 2, code the block, break condition is true, default code is a block. Flow chart of a switch statement. First, switch conditional statement, case 1 is true, statement break is a true, statement after a switch, case 2 true, statement break after a statement after a switch, case 3 true, statement break after a statement after a switch. By default statement is a false statement after a switch. Example of a switch statement. Integer main, integer var is equals to 1, if switch statements are used, switch bracket in var, case 1 printf, case 1 is a match, break, case 2 printf, case 2 is a match, break, case 3 printf, case 3 is a match, break, default printf, default case is match, break, return 0, then the output is var is equals to 1, so the output is a 2. Next is a while loop in a C. The while loop in C allows a block of code to be executed repeatedly as long as a given condition remains true. It is often used when we want to repeat a block of code till some condition is satisfied. So the syntax of a while loop is as while, so condition, then the body of the code or condition is a false. Initialization. In this step, we initialize the loop variable to some initial value. Initialization is not part of while loop syntax, but it is essential when we are using some variable in the test expression. Then the conditional. This is one of the most crucial steps as it decides whether the block in the while loop code will execute. The while loop body will be executed if and only the test condition defined in the conditional statement is true. Then the body of the condition is, it is an actual sets of statement that will be executed till the specified condition is true. The flow diagram for a while loop in a C. So the condition, if condition is true, the statements will be executed in a condition. So the false if condition to the end of the statement. While loop example of hash include stdio.h, header files include integer main. If integer I is equals to 1, then the while loop is used. While loop I is less than or is equals to 10, open curly bracket, printf %d I plus plus return 0. So initialization, the variable I is initialized as a 0, Condition: the while loop checks if I is less than or is equals to 10. If the condition is true, it prints the value of I and then increments I by 1. So the termination, the loop continues until I becomes greater than 10. So the output of the while loop is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Do while loop syntax. This is an exit control loop statement in which the condition of a loop statement return at the end of the loop. Do while is just like a while loop except that the test condition is checked at the end of the loop rather than the start. This has the effect that the content of the loop are always executed at least once. So the syntax of the do while loop: do open curly bracket all statements variable increment decrement closing curly bracket. So the while test expression are the closed. Flow chart of a do while loop. When the program control first comes to the do while loop, the body of the loop is executed first and then the test condition expression is checked, unlike other loop where the test condition is checked first. Due to this property, the do while loop is also called exit control or post tested loop. When the test condition is evaluated as a true, the program control goes to the start of the loop and the body is executed once more. The above process repeats till the test condition is true. When the test condition is evaluated as a false, the program controls move on the next statement after the do while loop. As with the while loop in a C, initialization and updating is not a part of the do while loop syntax. We have to do that explicitly before and in the loop respectively. The flowchart below shows the visual representation of the flow of the do while loop in the C. So the flow chart of a do while loop. Example of a do while loop: first header file declared integer main, integer count is equals to 0, then the do and while loop are executed. So first do print value of count, then the count plus plus, and otherwise while count is less than 3 return 0. So the output is value of count is 1 and value of count is 2. So next part, unconditional branching. So first, break statements. The break in a C is a loop control statement that breaks out of the loop when encountered. It can be used inside loop or switch statement to bring the control out of the block. The break statement can only break out of a single loop at a time. Let's take a look at an example. So first header file includes integer main. For integer I is equals to 1, I is less than or is equals to 10, I plus plus. Then the exit loop when I is equals to 5. If I is equals to 5, then the condition of a break, printf %d and I return 0. So the output is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Next, syntax of a break condition. Step 1, the loop execution starts after the test condition is evaluated. If the break condition is present, the condition will be evaluated. Next, if the condition is true, the program control reaches the break statement and skip the further execution of the loop by jumping to the statement directly below the loop. If the condition is false, the normal flow of the program control continues. So the break statements to be executed. Next, flow chart of the break statements. If loop condition expression is a true, then loop code block to the condition of the expression. Otherwise false, the statement after loop is a block. Next, go to statement. The go to statement in C allows the program to jump to some part of the code, giving you more control over its execution. While it can be useful in a certain situation like error handling or existing complex loops, it's generally not recommended because it can make the code harder to read the maintain. So syntax of a go to statements: first go to label, then second syntax of a first label, then go to label. The go to statements of a flow chart. In the above syntax, the first line tells the compiler to go or jump to the statements marked as a label. Here the label is user defined identifier that indicates the target statements. The statements immediately followed after label is the destination statement. The label can also appear before the go to the label. Example of goto. So first hash include stdio.h header file declare integer main. Suppose integer n is equals 26 if number %2 equals to 0, then jump to even, go to even, else jump to add, go to add, even, printf %d is even, return 0, otherwise odd, printf %d is odd, return 0. So the output is 26 is even. Next, continue. Continue statements in a C. The continue statement in a C is a jump statement used to skip the current iteration of a loop and continue with the next iteration. It is used inside loops for while or do while along with the conditional statement to bypass the remaining statements in the current iteration and move on the next iteration. So the syntax of the continue statements for initialization condition update, open curly bracket if condition continue, otherwise close curly braces. The loop execution start after the loop condition is evaluated to be true. The condition of the continue statement will be evaluated. If the condition is false, the normal execution will continue. If the condition is true, the program control will jump to the start of the loop and all the statements below the continue will be skipped. Steps 1 and 2 will be repeated till the end of the loop. Flow chart of a continue. First, loop of the body, continue, condition is true, then the continue the loop of the body, otherwise false, remaining part of the loop of the body. So the example of continue, first hash include stdio.h integer main, loop from 1 to 5 for int I is equals to 1, I is less than or is equals to 5, I plus plus, open curly bracket, skip 3 numbers, if I equals to 3, then the continue of the statement printf %d, otherwise return 0. Output is 1, 2, 4 and 5. Thank you.